Don't tell me you're not ready. Well, check your preset. We're live and we're late. Oh, where is she? Bring her up on stage. Now, what's he doing here? We're on.
Well, that knife cuts both ways. We're live, honey. I can do anything I want, and for once he can't do a thing about it. What are you doing here, Fitzpatrick? Oh, God.
The sun rose this morning at 6:32 a.m. This gratifying event was first reported by Mrs. Dorothy Stetson of Freeport, Long Island, who promptly telephoned the mayor. The Society for Affirming the End of the World at Once went into a special session and postponed the arrival of that event for 24 hours. All honor to Mrs. Stetson for her public spirit. The unprecedented cold weather of this summer has produced a condition that has not yet been satisfactorily explained. There is a report that a wall of ice is moving southward. The disruption of communications by the cold wave now crossing the country has rendered exact information difficult, but little credence is given to the rumor that the ice had pushed the Cathedral of Montreal as far as St. Albans, Vermont. This is the backyard of Mr. George Antrobus, the inventor of the wheel. The discovery of the wheel, following so closely on the discovery of the lever, has centered the attention of the country on Mr. Antrobus of this attractive suburban residence. This is Mr. Antrobus himself. He comes of very old stock and has made his way up from next to nothing. It is reported that he was once a gardener, but left that situation under circumstances that have been variously reported. This is Mrs. Antrobus, the charming and gracious president of the Excelsior Mothers Club. Mrs. Antrobus is an excellent needlewoman. It is she who invented the apron, on which so many interesting changes have been rung since. Here we see the Antrobuses with their two children, Henry and Gladys. The friend in the rear is Lily Sabina, the maid. I know we all want to congratulate this typical American family on its enterprise. We all wish Mr. Antrobus a successful future.
And the master not home yet. Pray God nothing serious has happened to him crossing the Hudson River. If anything happened to him, we would certainly be inconsolable and have to move to a less desirable residence district. The fact is, I don't know what will become of us. There it is, the middle of August, and the coldest day of the year. It's simply freezing. The dogs are sticking to the sidewalks. Can anybody explain that? No, but I'm not surprised. The whole world's at 6s and 7s, and why the house hasn't fallen down about our ears long ago is a miracle to me. So every night, this same anxiety as to whether the master will come home safely, will he bring home anything to eat. In the midst of life, we are in the midst of death. A truer word was never said. Of course, Mr. Antrobus is a very fine man, an excellent husband and father, a pillar of the church, and has all the best interests of the community at heart. Of course, every muscle goes tight every time he passes a policeman. But what I think is that there are certain charges that ought not to be made, and I think I may add, ought not to be allowed to be made. We are all human. Who isn't? Mrs. Antrobus is as fine a woman as you could ever hope to see. She lives only for her children, and if it would be any benefit to her children, she'd see us all stretched out dead at her feet without turning a hair. No, that's true. If you want to know anything more about Mrs. Antrobus, just go and look at a tigress and look hard. As to the children, well, Henry Antrobus is a real clean-cut American boy. He'll graduate from high school one of these days if they make the alphabet any easier. Henry, when he has a stone in his hand, has a perfect aim. He can hit anything from a bird to an older brother. Oh, I didn't mean to say that, but it certainly was an unfortunate accident, and it was very difficult getting the police out of the house. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Antrobus' daughter is named Gladys. She'll make some good man a good wife someday if he'll just come down off the movie screen and ask her. So, here we are. We've managed to survive for some time now. Catch as catch can, the fat and the lean. And if the dinosaurs don't trample us to death, and if the grasshoppers don't eat up all our garden, we'll all live to see better days. Knock on wood. We've rattled along hot and cold for some time now. And my advice to you is not to inquire as to why or whither, but just enjoy your ice cream while it's on your plate. Now, that's my philosophy. I mean, don't forget, a few years ago, we came through the Depression by the skin of our teeth. One more tight squeeze like that, and where will we be? We came through the Depression by the skin of our teeth. One more tight squeeze like that, and where will we be? Oh, 6 o'clock, and the master not home yet. Pray God, nothing serious has happened to him crossing the Hudson. Here it is, the middle of August, and the coldest day of the year. It's simply freezing. The dogs are sticking to the sidewalk. One more tight squeeze like that, and where will we be?
Make up something. Invent something.
Well, this is certainly a fine American home. And everybody is certainly very happy. Oh, I can't invent any words for this play, and I am glad I can't. I hate this play and every word in it. No, as for me, I don't understand any of it anyway. It is all about the troubles the human race has gone through. Now, there's a subject for you. And besides, the author hasn't made up his silly mind as to whether we're all living back in caves or in New Jersey today. And that's the way it is all the way through. No, I took this hateful job because I had to. For 2 years, I've sat up in my room, living on a cup of tea and a sandwich a day, waiting for better times in the theater. And here I am. I, who have played Rain and the Barretts of Wimple Street and First Lady. Oh, God in heaven.
Miss Brown, please.
All right, anyway, nothing matters. It will all be the same in 100 years. We came through the Depression by the skin of our teeth, and that's true. One more tight squeeze like that, and where will we be? Sabina?
You've let the fire go out.
One thing and another, I would stir upside her down. I might as well be dead as alive in a house all sixes and sevens.
You've let the fire go out. Here it is, the coldest day of the year, right in the middle of August, and you've let the fire go out.
Mrs. Antrobus, I'd like to give you my 2 weeks' notice, Mrs. Antrobus. A girl like I can get a situation in a home where they are rich enough to have a fire in every room. And a girl don't have to carry the responsibility of the whole house on her 2 shoulders. And a home without children, Mrs. Antrobus, because children are a thing only a parent can stand. And a truer word was never said. And a home, Mrs. Antrobus, where the master of the house don't pinch decent, self-respecting girls when he meets them in a dark corridor. Now, I mention no names and make no charges. So you have my notice, Mrs. Antrobus. I hope that's perfectly clear.
You've let the fire go out. Have you milked the mammoth?
I don't understand a word of this play. Yes, I've milked the mammoth.
Until Mr. Antrobus comes home, we have no food and we have no fire. You better go over to the neighbors and borrow some fire.
Oh, Mrs. Antrobus, I can't. Well, I'd die out there. You know I would. It's worse than January. The dogs are sticking to the sidewalks. I'd die.
Very well, I'll go.
No, Mrs. Antrobus. No, you'd never come back alive. And if you weren't here, we'd perish. We'd just perish. And how do we know Mr. Antrobus will come back? We don't know. Oh, if you go out, I'll just kill myself.
Get up, Sabina.
Every night, the same thing. Will he come home safely or won't he? Will we freeze to death or starve to death or boil to death? Will we be killed by burglars? I don't know why we go on living. I don't know why we go on living at all. It's easier being dead.
The same thing. Always throwing up the sponge, Sabina. Always announcing your own death. They'll give you a new hat or a plate of ice cream or a ticket to the movies. You want to live forever.
Well, you don't care whether we live or die. All you care about is those children. If it would be any benefit to them, you'd be glad to see us all stretched out dead.
Well, maybe I would.
And what do they care about? Themselves. That is all they care about. They make fun of you behind your back. Oh, don't tell me. They're ashamed of you. Half the time, they pretend they're other people's children. Little thanks you will get from them.
I'm not asking for any thanks.
Oh, and Mr. Antrobus. Oh, you don't understand him. All that work he does trying to discover the alphabet and the multiplication table. Oh, every time he thinks of something, you fight against it.
Oh, Sabina, I know you. When Mr. Antrobus raped you home from your Sabine Hills, he did it to insult me. He did it for your pretty face and to insult me. You were the new wife, weren't you? For a while, you lay on your bed, you polished the nails on your hands and feet. You made puffballs of the combings of your hair and blew them up to the ceiling. And I washed your underclothes. I made you chicken broths. I bore children. And between my very groans, I stirred the cream that you'd put on your face. But I knew you wouldn't last. You didn't last.
But it was I who encouraged Mr. Antrobus to make the alphabet. No, I'm sorry to say it, Mrs. Antrobus, but you are not a beautiful woman. And that's the God's truth. And you can never know what a man could do if he tried. It's girls like I who inspire the multiplication table.
And you didn't last. You sank to the kitchen. And what do you do there? You let the fire go out. No wonder to you it seems easier being dead. Reading and writing and counting on your fingers are all very well in their way. But I keep the home going. Oh, there's that dinosaur on the front lawn again. Shoo, go away.
It's cold.
You go round to the back of the house where you belong.
It's cold. You know, now that you're listening to this, too, I understand it a little better. I wish 11 o'clock were here. I don't want to be dragged through this whole piece again. Mrs. Antrobus! Mrs. Antrobus! Help! There's a strange man coming up the walk. He's coming up to the house. Mrs. Antrobus, help!
Help me, quick! Who is it? What do you want?
A telegram for Mrs. Antrobus from Mr. Antrobus in the city.
Well, are you sure? Maybe it's just a trap.
I know his voice, Sabina. You can open the door. Your supper? Are you ready to come in? All right. I'm sorry to keep you waiting. We have to be careful, you know. Young man, have you any fire with you?
Yes.
Then light the grate, will you? Oh, what are people saying about this cold weather? Sabina, take this stick and go and light the stove.
Like I said, Mrs. Antrobus, 2 weeks. That's the law. I hope that's perfectly clear.
What about this cold weather?
Of course, I don't know anything, but they say that there's a wall of ice moving down from the north. Oh, that's what they say. We can't get Boston by telegraph, and they're burning pianos in Hartford. It moves everything in its path. Post offices and churches and city halls. I live in Brooklyn myself.
What's this telegram you have for me?
This telegram was flashed from Murray Hill to University Heights. And then, by Puff's spoke from University Heights to Staten Island. And then by lantern from Staten Island to Plainfield, New Jersey. What hath God wrought? To Mrs. Antrobus, Excelsior, New Jersey. To my dear wife, we'll be an hour late. Busy day at the office. Don't worry the children about the cold. Just keep them warm. Burn everything except Shakespeare.
Oh, man. He knows I burned 10 Shakespeares to prevent a child of mine from having one cold in the head. What does he say next?
Have made great discoveries today. Have separated M from N.
I know what that is. That's the alphabet. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, that Mr. Antrobus. He's just the cleverest thing. Why, when he's finished with the alphabet, we'll be able to tell the future and, everything.
Then listen to this. 10 tens make 100. Semicolon. Consequences far-reaching.
The Earth's turning to ice. All he can do is to make up new numbers.
Well, Mrs. Antrobus, like the head man at the office says, a few more discoveries like this, and we'll be worth freezing.
What does it say next?
I can't do this part very well. Happy wedding anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you.
Dolly, Frederick, be quiet.
Happy wedding anniversary, dear Eva. Happy wedding anniversary to you.
Oh, Mrs. Antrobus, I take back the notice I gave you. I don't want to leave a house that gets such interesting telegrams. And I'm sorry for everything I said. I really, really am.
Young man, I'd like to give you something for all this trouble. Mr. Antrobus isn't home yet. I have no money, no food in the house.
Well, Mrs. Antrobus, I don't like to appear to ask for anything, but
What is it you'd like?
do you happen to have an old needle you could spare? My wife just sits home all day thinking about needles.
We only got 2 in the house. Mrs. Antrobus, you know we only got 2 in the house.
Why, yes, I can spare this.
Thank you, Mrs. Antrobus. Mrs. Antrobus, can I ask you something else? I have 2 sons of my own. If the cold gets worse, what should I do?
Well, I think we'll all perish. That's what I think. Cold like this in August is just the end of the whole world.
I don't know. After all, what does one do about anything? Just keep as warm as you can, and don't let your wife and children see that you're worried.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mrs. Antrobus. Well, I better be going. Oh, I almost forgot. There's another sentence in the telegram. 3 cheers have invented the wheel.
The wheel? What's the wheel?
I don't know. That's what it says here. The sign for it is like this.
Oh.
Well, goodbye.
Goodbye. Please, take care of yourself. Come back anytime. We'll miss you. Oh, Mrs. Antrobus. It seems to me like all the good men in this world are already married. I don't know why that is.
Do you ever remember hearing of any cold like this in August?
No.
From your grandmothers or anybody?
No.
Have you any suggestions? Oh. You little children, come right in and get warm. No, when Mama says a thing, she means it. Henry, put down that stove. You know what happened last time? Henry, put down that stove. Oh. Gladys, put down your dress. Try and be a lady.
Mama, I'm hungry.
Isn't it snow?
Mama, why
When's
is it so
supper gonna be
cold?
ready? Mama, maybe it'll snow and we can make
that in
snowballs.
one more minute, I just couldn't have stood it.
Settle down, both of you. I want to talk to you. It's just a cold spell of some kind. Now listen to what I'm saying. When your father comes home, I want you to be extra quiet. I've just had a telegram from him, very happy and excited. You know what that means. Your father's temper's uneven. I guess you know that.
Uh-huh.
Henry! Why can't you remember to keep your hair down over your forehead? You must keep that scar covered up. Don't you know that when your father sees it, he loses all control over himself? Lift your head up. Stop squirming. Blessed me, sometimes I think it's going away, and then there it is again, just as red as ever.
Mama, today at school, 2 teachers forgot and called me by my old name. They forgot, Mama. You better write another letter to the principal so that he'll tell him I've changed my name. Right out in class, they called me Kane.
Don't say it. If you're good, they'll forget it. Oh, Henry, you didn't hurt anyone today, did you?
No.
And Gladys, I want you to be especially nice to your father tonight. Keep your dress down like a little lady and keep your voice nice and low. Gladys Antrobus, what's that red stuff you have on your face? You're a filthy, detestable child. Get away from me, both of you. I wish I'd never seen sight or sound of you. Let the cold come. I can't stand it. I don't want to go on.
All the girls at school do, Mama.
I'm through with you, that's all. Sabina! Don't you know your father go crazy if he saw that paint on your face? Don't you know your father thinks you're perfect? Don't you know he couldn't live if he didn't think you were perfect? Sabina?
Yes, Mrs. Antrobus.
Take this girl in the kitchen and wash her face with a scrubbing brush. Henry, leave that on. Leave Fred.
Mrs. Antrobus, it's a giant. We'll all be killed in our beds. I know it.
Help me quick, everybody. Who is it? What do you want? Sabina, have you any boiling water ready? Who is it?
Broken down camel of a pig's snout, open this door.
God be praised! It's your father. Just a minute, George. Sabina, clear the door quick. Gladys, come here while I clean your nasty face.
See, bitch of a goat, skiss it out, break every bone in your body. You let me in, or I'll tear this whole house down.
Just a minute, George. Something's the matter with the lock.
Open this door, or I'll tear your livers out. I'll smash your brains on the ceiling, and devil take the hindmost.
I'm ready, Sabina. You can open the door.
How's the whole crooked family? Howdy, old gunny sack. How's the broken down old weatherhead, huh? Sabina, you old fish bait, you old skunk pot. And the children, how the little smellers been?
Papa.
How they been, Maggie?
Well, I must say they've been as good as gold. I haven't had to raise my voice once. I don't know what's the matter with them.
Papa's little weasel. Sabina, there's some food for you over there. Papa's little gopher.
Papa, you're always teasing me.
Henry! Nothing rash today. I hope nothing rash.
No, Papa.
Good. I'll bet Sabina let the fire go out.
Mr. Antrobus, I've given my notice. I'll be leaving 2 weeks from today. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving.
Well, if you leave now, you'll freeze to death. Go cook the dinner.
2 weeks? That's the law.
Maggie, did you get my telegram?
Yes. What's the wheel?
Ah, right over there.
What does this cold weather mean? It's below freezing.
Not before the children.
Well, shouldn't we do something about it? Start off? Move?
Not before the children.
Papa, you hit me.
Well, you remember it. That's to make you remember today. Today. The day that we finished the alphabet. And the day that we saw the 100. 100. 100, 100, 100. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. There's no end to them. Oh, if I had a day at the office. Maggie. Take a look at that wheel, Maggie. When I've got that to right, you'll see a sight. There's a reward there for all the walking that you've done.
How do you mean?
Maggie, we've reached the top of the wave. There's not much more to be done. We're there.
And the ice?
The ice.
Papa, you could put a chair on this.
Yes, any booby can play with it now. But I thought of it first.
Children, go in the kitchen. Come on. I'm going to talk to your father.
Well, it's cold. How are you down there, huh? And you, Millicent?
I know it's cold.
No spilling of sunflower seeds, huh? And no singing after lights out, you know what I mean?
You can try and prevent us freezing to death, can't you? You can do something. We could start moving. We could go on the animals' backs.
Best thing about animals is that they don't talk much.
It's cold.
Hey, watch that. Watch that. No. Maggie, by midnight we turned to ice. The roads are full of people now who can scarcely lift a foot from the ground. The grass out front's like iron. Oh, which reminds me, Maggie, I've got another needle for you. There. People up north, where are they? They're frozen. Crushed.
Is that what's going to happen to us? Will you answer me?
I don't know. I don't know anything. Some people say the ice is slowing down. Some people say that it's stopped. The sun is growing cold. Now, what can I do about that? Nothing we can do. But burn everything in the house. And the fence posts and the barn. Keep the fire going. When we have no more fire, we die.
Well, why didn't you say so in the first place?
Mr. Antrobus! Mr. Antrobus!
Who's that? Who's that calling you?
Well, let me see.
Could we warm our hands for a moment, Mr. Antrobus? It's very cold, Mr. Antrobus.
Mr. Antrobus, I wonder if you might have a piece of bread or something that you could spare.
Who are these people? They're all over the place. What did they come here for?
Maggie.
There's some tramps knocking at the back door.
George, tell these people to go away. Tell them to move right along.
I will.
I'll go and send them away from the back door. Sabina, come with me.
Sabina, you stay where you are. I have something I want to say to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to ask you to wait just a few minutes longer. It'll be all right. But while you're waiting, you might each one of you pull up a stake of the fence. We'll need them all for the fireplace. And there'll be coffee and sandwiches for you in a moment.
Mr. Antrobus, what's that? That big white thing. Oh, Mr. Antrobus, it's ice. It's ice!
Sabina, I want you to go into the kitchen and make a lot of coffee, a whole pailful.
Pailful?
Yes, and a lot of sandwiches, a big pile of them like this. Oh.
Oh, I see what this part of the play means now. This means refugees.
What?
I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, no. No, ladies and gentlemen, don't take this play serious. The world is not coming to an end. I mean, you know it's
I'm not going to tolerate it.
Oh, people exaggerate. I mean, most people have enough to eat and a roof over their heads. I mean, nobody actually starves. Well, you can always eat grass or something. And this business about the ice. Well, that happened a long, long time ago. Besides, well, they were only savages. Savages don't love their families. Well, not like we do.
Blair,
All right. I will say the lines, but I don't think about the play. And I advise you not to think about the play either.
These tramps say you asked them to come to the house. What does this mean?
Well,
now
Maggie-
you're not to let these people in.
Maggie, these are real nice, they're useful people,
George
Maggie.
Antrobus, not another soul comes in this house over my dead body.
Maggie, there's a doctor out there. Now, it never hurts to have a good doctor in the house. You and I have lost a peck of children one way and another.
Well, just one person, then the doctor.
Well, there's an old man out
I
there.
won't listen to
But
you.
Maggie, he's the one who started off the ABCs.
I don't care if he perishes. We can do without reading and writing. We can't do without food.
Then let the ice come. You drink your coffee. I don't want to drink any coffee if I can't drink it with some good people.
Stop shouting. Who else is there trying to push us off the cliff?
There's also the man who started all the laws, Judge Moses.
Judges can't help us now.
Maggie, if the ice melts and if we pull through, have you and I been able to bring up Henry? What have we done?
Who were those women?
Oh, well, up in town there are 9 sisters.
9?
Well, there are only 3 or 4 of them here. They're sort of music teachers. One of them recites, and another
That's
one...
the end, a singing troupe. Well, take your choice, live or die. Starve your own children before your face.
Look, Maggie, these people don't take much. They're used to starving. They'll sleep on the floor, Maggie. Listen. Maggie, listen. Who have we got in the house besides Sabina? Sabina's always afraid the worst is going to happen. Whose spirits can she keep up? These people, Maggie, never give up. They think they'll live and work forever.
All right. Let them in. But these animals must go. Enough's enough. They'll soon be big enough to push the walls down anyway. Take them away.
All right. Dinosaur, Mammoth, Dolly, Frederick, we're going for a walk.
It's cold.
Oh, yes, but nice, fresh, cold air. It'll be bracing. Come on. Oh, doctor, come right in. Make yourself at home here. Maggie, this is the doctor. Meet my wife. Judge, I'm so glad you could come. Thank you for the... Come in and keep yourself warm. You know my wife, Maggie, the judge. And, be careful, sir. There are 3 steps. Judge, can you give me a hand? Maggie, this is Homer.
Homer?
Come in, sir. Come in. Honored to have you. And Miss E. Muse. Are your sisters here?
Yes.
I want you to meet my wife, Maggie, Miss E. Muse. And her sisters, Miss T. Muse. Come in and make yourself at home. And Miss M. Muse. Thank you.
Please come in and make yourselves comfortable. Supper will be ready in a minute.
Well, please make yourself at home, friends. Now, Sabina, pass the sandwiches.
I thought I was working in a respectable house that had respectable guests. I'm giving you my notice, Mr. Antrobus. 2 weeks, that's the law.
Sabina, pass the sandwiches.
2 weeks, that's the law.
That's the law. That's Moses.
The 10 Commandments. Phew. That's the worst line I've ever had to say on any stage.
Well, I think it best not to stand on ceremony, but just please pass the sandwiches, Judge. And do help yourself to one of those.
The roads are crowded, I hear.
Hardly put one foot before you. People are trampling one another.
Well, you know what I think it is? I think it's sunspots.
Well, I just can't believe the whole world is going to turn to ice. No, I can't believe it. Judge, have we worked for nothing? Doctor, have we just failed in the whole thing?
It certainly is very strange. Well, fortunately, on both sides of our family, we come of very hearty stock. Oh, Doctor, I want you to meet my children. They're having their supper now. And, of course, I want them to meet you.
How many children have you, Mrs. Antrobus?
I have 2, a girl and a boy.
I understand you had 2 sons, Mrs. Antrobus.
Abel, my son. Abel, my son, my son. Abel, my son.
What was that?
Mr. Antrobus, that son of yours, that boy, Henry Antrobus, I don't stay in this house another moment. He's not fit to live among respectable folks, and that is a fact.
Don't say another word, Savannah. I'll be right back.
Mr. Antrobus, Henry has thrown another stone, and if he hasn't killed the boy that lives next door, I am very much mistaken. Oh, no, I saw it with my own eyes. It looked to me like stark murder.
He was going to take the wheel away from me. He started to throw a stone at me. George, it was just a boyish impulse. Remember how young he is. George, he's only 4,000 years old.
And everything was going along so nicely.
All right, put out the fire. Put out all the fires. No wonder the sun...
No! You can't help me. No! You lost your mind.
Mind? There is no mind. We'll not try to live. Give it up. Give up trying.
Mr. Antrobus, I'm downright ashamed of you.
Sada's gone.
Here I am, Mama.
Run upstairs and get your father's slippers. How could you forget a thing like that when you know how tired he is? Can't some of you sing? It's your business in life to sing, isn't it? Sabina. Oh. George. Remember all the other times when the volcanoes came right up in the front yard, and the time the grasshoppers ate every single leaf and blade of grass, and all the grain and spinach you've grown with your own hands, and the summer there were earthquakes every night.
Henry! Henry! Myself, all of us, we're covered with blood.
And remember all the times you were pleased with him, and when you were proud of yourself, Henry, reciting your father the multiplication table that you do so nicely.
2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. I don't think I know the 6s.
Oh, Papa, Papa. Oh, I was very good in school today. Well, Miss Conover said right out in class that if all the girls had as good manners as Gladys Antrobus, that the world would be a better place to live in.
You recited something in assembly today, didn't you? Recite it to your father.
Oh, Papa, do you want to hear what I recited in class? The Star by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Wait! The fire's going out! Oh, there's not enough wood! Henry, run upstairs and bring down the chairs and start breaking up the bed!
Papa, look it. My report card. Look it. Conduct A. Look, Papa. Oh, Papa, you're not mad at me, are you? Oh, I know it'll get warmer. Soon it'll be just like spring, and we can go for a picnic at the Hibernian picnic grounds like you always like to do. Oh, Papa, just look at me once.
You recited in assembly today, did you? You didn't forget.
No. I was perfect.
Build up the fire. It's cold. Here, build up the fire. All right, we'll see what we can do. Now, Savannah, now bring some more wood. Come around the fire, everybody. At least the young ones may pull through. Henry, did you eat something tonight?
Yes, Papa.
Gladys, have you had some supper?
I in the kitchen, Papa.
All right, if you do pull through this, what will you be able to do? What will you know? Henry, did you get a good look at that wheel?
Yes, Papa.
All right. 6 times 2.
12.
All right, 6 times 3.
6 is 18.
All right.
4 times... Papa, it's hot and cold. Makes my head all funny. Makes me sleepy.
Wake up. I don't care if your head is sleeping. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5?
30, Papa.
Maggie, put something in Gladys's head on a chance she can use it.
What should it be, George?
6 times 6 is 36.
36.
All right. Teach her the beginning of the Bible.
But, Mama, it's so cold and close.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
And the earth was waste and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
And the earth was waste and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
Will you please start handing up your seats? No, just lift them out. We need everything for this fire. Save the human race. Ushers, start passing the seats up here. Thank you. And guard across the light vanish. And the darkness equal. Everybody pass your seats up here, please. Save the human race.
And now we return live to the Old Globe Theater for Act 2 of The Skin of Our Teeth.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the news. Atlantic City is playing host this week to the anniversary convocation of that great fraternal order, the ancient and honorable order of mammals, subdivision humans. They are celebrating today on the famous boardwalk with the 600,000th annual convention, having just elected the new president for the ensuing term, Mr. George Antrobus of Excelsior, New Jersey. President Antrobus is accompanied by his gracious and charming wife, every inch a mammal. Mr. Antrobus has had a long and checkered career. Credit has been paid to him for many useful enterprises, including the introduction of the lever, of the wheel, and the brewing of beer. Credit has also been extended to President Antrobus' gracious and charming wife for many practical suggestions, including the hem, the gore, and the gusset. And the novelty of the year, frying in oil. The great celebration of the Order of Mammals has received delegations from other rival orders, or should we say, esteemed concurrent orders. Wings, fins, the shells, and so on, who are holding their conventions also in various parts of the world and have sent representatives to our own two of a kind. Later in the program, we hope to cover President Antrobus's words of greeting and congratulation to the collected assemblies of the whole natural world. But at this moment, I think we are ready for an on-the-spot interview with the Antrobuses on the boardwalk. President Antrobus, good morning.
Yes, good morning, John.
And tell us, now, how do you feel about this election?
Yes. Well, now, little did my dear parents think when they told me to stand on my own 2 feet that I'd arrive at this place.
And how do you think things stand with mammals at the moment?
Well, now, John, we've come a long way. But since this is a day of happy celebration, I'm not going to dwell on any of the difficult times that we've been through. I mean, after all, the dinosaur is extinct. The ice has retreated, and the common cold is being pursued by every means within our power.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Yesterday, John, at our memorial service, we did honor to all those friends and relatives who are no longer with us by reason of cold, plagues, earthquakes, and differences of opinion. As our bishop so ably said,
gone but not forgotten.
They are gone but not forgotten. Now, as you know, John, our watchword for the past year was work. I'm now going to give the watchword for the future. Enjoy yourselves.
George, sit down. I never heard of such a thing.
Well, now, before I do, I just want to answer one of the most unjust and malicious accusations that were made against me in this recent electoral campaign. Now, the charge was made that at various points in my career, I leaned toward joining one of the rival orders. Now, that's a lie, John. That's a lie. As I told the paper yesterday, I don't deny that a few months before my birth, I hesitated between pin feathers and gill breathing, and so did many of us here. But for the last 1,000,000 years, John, I have been viviparous, hairy, and diaphragmatic. Just wanted that
Thank
to be on the
you
record.
very much, Mr. Antrobus. Now, it might be appropriate to hear a few words from that gracious and charming mammal, Mrs. Antrobus, wife and mother. Mrs. Antrobus, how do you feel about all of this?
Oh, well, I don't really think I should say anything. After all, it was my husband who was elected and not I.
Well, what about the Women's Auxiliary Bed and Board Society? After all, you are the president of that.
Well, sweet of you to ask. I have a list here. One, perhaps it may interest you to know that it has at last been decided that the tomato is edible. Isn't that wonderful? Can you hear me? The tomato is edible. Two, a delegate from across the sea reports that a thread woven by the silkworm gives a cloth. Oh, I have a sample of it here. Can you see it? Smooth, elastic. I should say it's rather attractive, although personally I prefer less shiny surfaces. Three, should the windows of a sleeping apartment be open or shut? I know all mothers will follow our debates in this matter with close interest. I'm sorry to say the most expert authorities have not yet decided. It does seem to me that the night air be bound to be unhealthy for our children, but there are many distinguished authorities on both sides. Four. I could go on talking forever. As Shakespeare says, a woman's work is seldom done, but I think I'll just join my husband in saying thank you and thank you.
Oh, Mrs. Antrobus.
Yes?
We understand that you are about to celebrate a wedding anniversary. May we extend our felicitations to you both.
Bless your heart.
And perhaps you might give us a word or two on the subject.
Dear friends, this spring, Mr. Antrobus and I will be celebrating our 5,000th wedding anniversary. I don't know if I speak for my husband, but I can say that as for me, I regret every moment of it. Oh, I beg your pardon. What I mean to say is I do not regret one moment of it. I hope you don't catch my cold. We have 2 children. We've always had 2 children, although they haven't always been the same 2. But as I say, we have 2 fine children, and we're very grateful for that. My husband says that the watchword for the year is enjoy yourselves. I think that's very open to misunderstanding. My watchword for the year is save the family. It's held together for over 5,000 years. Save it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Adams. Other news from Atlantic City, of course, centers around the world-famous beauty contest which took place here yesterday. President Antrobus, an experienced judge of pretty girls, gave the title himself of Miss America to Miss Lily Sabina Fairweather, an Atlantic City native who works in a casino on the boardwalk. Now, we'll be back with that story and others after this word from Alpo.
Esmeralda! Has President Antrobus come along yet? No. Get back there. Hide yourself. Oh, Esmeralda, I'm so afraid I'll miss him. If I fail in this, I will die. I know I'll die. President Antrobus, and I'll be his wife. I'll be Mrs. George Antrobus. Oh, I'll take President Antrobus away from that wife of his. I'll take every man away from his wife. When all those husbands just think about me, they'll get dizzy, they'll faint in the streets. They'll have to lean against lampposts. Esmeralda, who was Helen of Troy?
Shut your foolish mouth. When Mr. Antrobus comes along, you can see what you can do. Until then, go away.
Hey, Miss Lily, you know me. You've known me for years.
Oh, go away, boys, go away. I'm after bigger fry than you.
I thought you said you knew her. She used to be a waitress on roller skates.
Hey.
I tell the future. Nothing easier. Everybody's future is in their face. Nothing easier. But who can tell your past? Huh? Nobody. Your youth, where did it go? Slipped away while you weren't looking? While you were asleep? While you were drunk? You're like our friends, Mr. and Mrs. Antrobus. You lie awake nights trying to know your past. What did it mean? What was it trying to say to you? Think, split your heads. I can't tell the past, and neither can you. Anybody tries to tell you the past, you take my word for it, they're charlatans. Charlatans. But I can tell you the future. Apoplexy.
Witch. Move on.
Nobody listens. But now, what is the immediate future of our friends, the Antrobuses? Oh, you've seen it as well as I have. That dizziness of the head, that great man dizziness, the inventor of beer and gunpowder, the sudden fits of temper, and then the long stretches of inertia. I am a sultan. Let my slave girls fan me. You know what's coming as well as I do. Rain. Rain in floods. The deluge. Again, there will be the narrow escape, the survival of a handful from destruction, total destruction. Even of the animals, a few will be saved. Two of a kind, male and female. Two of a kind. And you! Mark my words before it's too late. Where will you be?
Crossing the Raven.
Enjoy yourself!
bottom stack. Look at it.
Oh, dust and ashes.
Yeah, stick out your tongues. You can't stick your tongues out far enough to lick the death sweat from your foreheads. It's too late to work now. Go bail out the flood with your soup spoon. You've had your chance. You've lost. Uh-oh. They're coming. The Antrobuses. Your hope. Your despair. Yourselves.
Forget it, buddy. What kind of girl do you think I am? I mean, come on, huh? Oh, hi, honey. You don't understand.
Murray, Frida sent me down to find you.
Gladys, stick your stomach in.
But it's easier this way.
Well, it's too bad the new president is such a clumsy daughter. That's all I can say. Try and be a lady. Where's Henry? He was here a minute ago. Henry!
Oh, put your eye out. I'll make you yell like you never yelled before.
Henry, what is... Put down that slingshot.
Behave yourself. That's right, young man. There's too many people in the world as it is. Not room for anybody except you.
All I was doing was having some fun.
What were you doing, Henry?
Everybody's always getting mad. Everybody's always trying to push you around.
All right, give me that slingshot.
No, I won't. I won't. I'm sorry I came to this place. I wish I weren't here. I wish I weren't anywhere.
Henry, don't get so excited about nothing. I declare I don't know what we're going to do with you. Put that slingshot in your pocket, and don't try to take hold of things that don't belong to you.
After this, you can stay home. I wash my hands of you.
Come on, let's forget all about it. Everybody take a good breath of that sea air and calm down.
George, you old gill breather. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Phil.
Who was that you spoke to, George?
Well, that's the candidate who ran against me in the election, Maggie.
The man who ran against you in the election. My husband didn't speak to you, and he never will speak to you.
Now,
After those lies you told about him in your speeches. Lies, that's what they were.
Everybody's looking at
If you must know my husband's a saint, a downright saint, you're not fit to speak to him in the street.
Maggie, that's enough of that.
George Antrobus, you're a perfect worm. You won't stand up for yourself, I will.
Mama, he just acts awful in public.
Well, I must say I enjoyed it. I feel better. Wish his wife had been there to hear it. Children, what do you want to do?
Papa, oh, can I ride in one of those chairs? Mama, I want to ride in one of those chairs.
No, sir. If you're so tired, you sit right where you are. We have no money to spend on foolishness.
Well, I guess we've got enough for a thing like that. It's one of the things you do when you're in Atlantic City.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's a miracle. My children have shoes to stand up in. I didn't think I'd ever live to see them pushed around in chairs.
Maggie, we're on vacation, aren't we? We've got a right to some treats, I guess. Gee, one of these days you're going to drive me crazy.
All right, go. I'll just sit here and laugh at you. You can give me my money right in my hand. You mark my words. A rainy day is coming. There's a rainy day ahead of us. I feel it in my bones.
All right, here.
Go on, throw your money around. I can starve. I've starved before. I know how.
Maggie, I tell you, there is a limit to what a man can stand. God in heaven, haven't I worked enough? Don't I get some vacation? Can't I give my children so much as a ride in a roller chair?
Anyway, it's going to rain very soon. You have your television broadcast.
I'm warning you, Maggie. A man can stand a family, only just so long. I'm warning you.
Why, George Antrobus, how can you say such a thing? You have the best family in the world. You spoke to, George?
The little girl I met in the library.
What? I can't understand.
Mama, wasn't she beautiful?
Will you be quiet? While I ask your father a simple question. Who did you say it was, George?
She is just a friend of mine, a very nice, refined girl.
I'm waiting.
Maggie, that's the girl I gave first prize to in the beauty contest. That's Miss America.
Mm-hmm. She looked like Sabina to me.
Mama, the lifeguard knows her too, Mama. He knows her well.
You just come over here. Henry, come over here. Very nice, refined girl in every way, and the sole support of her aged mother.
So was Sabina. So was Sabina. And it took a wall of ice to open your eyes about Sabina. Henry, come over here, sit down on this bench.
It's a very different matter from Sabina, Miss Fairweather is a college graduate, a Phi Beta Kappa.
Henry, come sit here by Mama Gladys.
Reduced circumstances if required in taking a position as a hostess in the casino, but there isn't a girl with higher principles in the country.
Well, let's not talk about it. Henry, I haven't seen a whale yet.
She speaks 7 languages. She's got more culture in her little finger than you've acquired in a lifetime.
All right, George. I'm glad to know there are such superior girls in the casinos. Henry, what's that?
What is it, Papa? Here, let me take a look here. Oh, well, now that's the weather signal. 1 of those black discs means bad weather. 2 means storm. 3 means hurricane. And 4 means the end of the world.
Goodness, I'm going this very minute and get us all some raincoats.
Oh, Mama, don't go yet. I like sitting this way. And the ocean coming in and coming in. Papa, don't you like it?
Well, there's only one thing I lack to make me a perfectly happy woman. I'd like to see a whale.
Mama, we saw 2 right out there. They're delegates to the convention. I'll find you one.
Papa, ask me something. Ask me a question.
Well, how big is the ocean?
Papa, you're teasing me. It's 360 million square miles, and it covers 3/4 of the Earth's surface. And its deepest place is 5.5 miles deep, and its average depth is 12,000 feet. No, Papa, ask me something hard. Real hard.
Now, I'm going off to get those raincoats. I think that bad weather is going to get worse and worse. I hope it doesn't come before your broadcast. I should think we have about an hour or so.
Oh, I hope it comes and it... Everything before it. Henry!
George, I think it's one of those storms that are just as bad on land as on the sea, where you're just as safe and safer in a good stout boat.
There's a boat out at the end of the pier.
Well, keep your eye on it. Now, George, you shut your eyes and get a good rest before the broadcast.
Maggie, thundering Judas, do I have to be told when to open and shut my eyes? Will you please go and buy your raincoats?
Children, you have 10 minutes to walk around. 10 minutes! Henry, control yourself. Gladys, stick by your brother and don't get lost. Will you be all right, George?
Will you be all right, George?
Hey, George, leave the old hen coop at home. Domesticated Georgie.
Save the family, George.
Low common oafs. That's what they are. Guess a man has a right to take his wife to a convention if he wants to. What's the matter with the family? I'd like to know. What else have they got to offer?
Uh-oh. Here she comes.
Esmeralda, what's he doing?
Oh, he's ready for you. Bite your lips, dear. Take a long breath and come on up.
Oh, I'm nervous. My whole future depends on this. I am nervous.
Don't talk like a fool. What more could you want? He's over 50. His head's a little dizzy. He's just been elected president. He's never known any other woman than his wife. And every time he looks at her, he knows she knows every foolish thing he's ever done.
I don't know why it is, but every time I start one of these, I'm nervous. Yoo-hoo! President Antrobus, dare I speak to you for a moment?
What is it? Oh, yes, certainly, Miss Fairweather.
Oh, Mr. Antrobus, I've been so unhappy. Well, I've wanted to make sure that you don't think I'm the kind of girl who goes in for beauty contests.
That's the way.
Well, I understand perfectly.
Give it a little more, lady.
I knew you would. My mother said to me this morning, Lily, she said, that's fine, Mr. Antrobus chose you because he knew right away that you weren't the kind of girl that went in for that sort of thing. Oh, but honestly, Mr. Antrobus, honestly, in this world, well, a good girl doesn't know where to turn.
Now you've gone too far.
Well, my dear.
Oh,
Miss
no, Mr.
Fairweather,
Antrobus, you have no idea. Oh, you have no idea how hard it is. No, with that lovely wife and daughter you have. Oh, I just think Mrs. Antrobus is the finest woman I ever saw. I wish that I were more like her.
There, Miss Fairweather. There's room for all kinds of people in the world.
Oh, how wonderful of you to say so. How generous. Oh, President Antrobus, have you a moment free? I'm afraid I'm a little conspicuous here. I was wondering if you could come over just a moment to my Beach cabana.
Oh, well, yes. But just for a moment. Just for a moment.
Because you know you do look tired. Well, just this morning, my mother said to me, Lily, she said, oh, I do hope Mr. Antrobus is getting a good rest.
Oh.
His fine, strong face is getting such deep, deep lines in it.
Really?
Now, isn't it true, Mr. Antrobus? You work too hard. Bingo. Now, you just stretch out here.
Well, I really don't.
Oh, no. I shan't say a word. Not a word. I shall just sit here privileged. That's what I am.
Miss Fairweather, you'll spoil me.
Just a moment. There's something I wish to say to the audience.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen,
What?
I'm not going to play this particular scene tonight. Now, it's just a short scene and we're going to skip it. But I'll tell you what takes place and then we can continue to play on
Get the
from
director.
there. No, I'm sorry, Hal. I am sorry. But we have to skip it. Now, in this scene, Mr. Antrobus and I have a conversation. At the end of it, he decides to leave his wife, get a divorce in Reno, and marry me. That's all.
Jonathan, you do something about this or I'm calling my agent.
No, so now we can just jump to the end of it. Hal, this is where you say...
Miss
it's
Brown, we insist that you play this scene.
Oh, I am sorry, Mr. Fitzpatrick, but I can't, and I won't. And I've told the audience everything they need to know. Now we can just continue on.
Why can't you play it?
Well, because there are some lines in this scene that might hurt some people's feelings. And I don't think that the theater is a place where people's feelings ought to be hurt.
Miss Brown, you can pack up your things and go home. I shall call your understudy. Call her understudy. Report you
I
to
sent
Equity.
my understudy to the cafe across the park to get me something to eat.
You what? Who
And if Equity tries to penalize me, I will drag this case right up to the Supreme Court.
This is the most outrageous.
Now,
You have
there's no
some
need for everyone
nerve.
to get so excited.
Why can't you play this scene?
What's the matter with the scene?
Oh, all right. If you must know. I have a friend in the audience tonight. Now, her life has not exactly been a very happy one. I wouldn't for the whole world have my friend hear some of the lines in this scene. I mean, I suppose it never occurred to the author of this piece that there might be some other women in the audience who've gone through a similar experience of losing their husbands like this.
It's an audience.
Wild horses would not drag from me the details of my friend's life. They've been married nearly 20 years before he got shit on the Washington.
Blair, your friend will forgive you. No, we must play this scene.
Oh, no, nothing. Nothing will make me say some of those lines. That one about a man outgrows a wife every 7 years. The one about the Mohammedans being the only people to look the subject square in the face.
Blair, go to your dressing room. I'll read your lines.
You're going to read the love scene with me? Skip the scene. Skip it. Okay.
Thank you. I knew you'd understand.
We'll take care of this later.
Now, we'll just do what I said, right? Okay, so Mr. Antrobus has decided to leave his wife and marry me. And Hal, this is where you say it's not going to be easy to lay all this before my wife.
Will you wait a minute? Can't jump into it as easily as all that. Where were we? Pick a line up. Let's see. I say, Miss Fairweather, my wife is a very obstinate woman. Then you say, blah, 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 blah. Then I say, it won't be easy to lay all this before my wife. It'll hurt her feelings a little. All right. 30 years of show business. I've never had an experience like this. All right. Miss Fairweather, I mean Lily. Well, it won't be easy to lay all this before my wife. Well, it'll hurt her feelings a little.
Oh, listen, George. Other people haven't got feelings. Well, not in the same way that we do. We who are presidents like you and prize winners like me. Oh, listen. Other people haven't got feelings. So just imagine they have. Within 2 weeks, they're back to playing bridge and going to the movies. Oh, listen, dear. Everybody in the world, except for a few people like you and me, are just people of straw. Most people have no insides at all. You see, now that you're president, you'll see that. Oh, listen, darling, there is a kind of secret society at the top of the world, like you and me, that know this. I mean, the world was made for us. I mean, what is life anyway? Except for
for two things, pleasure and power, what is life? Boredom, foolishness.
Now, you know it is. Except for those two things, life is just nauseating. So, come here. So, now when your wife comes, it's really very simple. Just tell her.
Lily, you're a wonderful woman.
Of course I am.
Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Oh, here I am, Mama.
Gladys, Antrobus, what on earth do you think you're wearing?
Judas Priest, it's her mother.
This is a limp. You go back to the hotel this minute.
I won't. Papa likes the color.
All right. All right, you stay here. I have a good mind to let your father see you like that. You stay right here.
Oh, I don't want to stay if you don't think he'd like it.
Oh, it's all one to me. I don't care what happens. I don't care if the biggest storm in the whole world comes. Let it come. Where's your brother?
He'll be here.
Willie. Well, let him get into trouble. I don't care. I don't know where your father is, I'm sure.
I think he's... Mama, he's talking to the lady in the bathing suit.
Is that so? We'll wait till he's through. Sit down here beside me. Stop fidgeting. What are you crying about?
You don't like my stocking.
Well, Mrs. Antrobus, thank God we found you at last. Where's Mr. Antrobus? We've been hunting everywhere for him.
It's about time for the telecast to the conventions of the world.
I expect he'll be here in a minute.
Well, if he doesn't show up in time, maybe you can speak in his place,
No, I haven't one single thing to say.
Mrs. Antrobus, we don't have much time.
That's right, a storm's coming up, a hurricane.
A deluge! Look! There he is,
In the name of
there!
God, Mr. Antrobus, you're on in 5 minutes.
Will you give us a level, please?
I'll be ready when the time comes. Until then, will you please move away? I have something I wish to say to my wife.
Mr. Antrobus!
This is the most important telecast of the year.
Now remember, don't let her argue. Arguments have nothing to do with it.
Maggie, I'm moving out of the hotel. In fact, I'm moving out of everything for good. I'm going to marry Miss
Mr.
Fairweather.
Antrobus, please, this is the most important
I shall
telecast.
provide generously for you and the children. In a few years' time, you'll see that this is all for the best. That's all I'd like to say. Will you clear out? Go away!
George, I can't talk to you till you wipe those silly red marks off your face.
I think there's nothing more to talk about, Maggie. I've said what I had to say.
Oh, terrific!
You know, Maggie, you're a wonderful woman, but a man has to lead his own life in the world.
Well, after living with you for 5,000 years, I guess I have a right to a word or two, haven't I?
What can I answer to that?
Oh, just tell her that conversation would only hurt her feelings. It's kinder in the long run to do it short and quick.
Mr. Antrobus, the hurricane signal's gone up.
I didn't marry you because you were perfect, George. I didn't even marry you because I loved you. I married you because you gave me a promise. That promise made up for your faults, and the promise I gave you made up for mine. Two imperfect people got married, and it was the promise that made the marriage.
Maggie, I was only 19.
And when our children were growing up, it wasn't a house that protected them, and it wasn't our love that protected them. It was that promise. And when that promise is broken, this can happen.
Gladys! Gladys, have you gone crazy? Has everybody gone crazy? You did this. You gave them to
I
her.
never said a word to her.
You're going to go up to the hotel and take those horrible things off.
Well, before I go, I've got something to tell you. It's about Henry.
Stop your noise. I'm taking her back to the hotel, George. Before I go, I have a letter. I have a message I want to throw into the ocean. Where is the darn thing? Oh, here it is. It's a bottle. And in the bottle's a letter. And in the letter is written all the things that a woman knows. It's never been told to any man. And it's never been told to any woman. And if it finds its destination, a new time will come. We're not what books and plays say we are. We're not what advertisements say we are. We're not in the movies and we're not on the television. We're not what you're all told and what you think we are. We're ourselves. And if any man find one of us, he'll learn why the whole universe was set in motion. And if any man harm any of us, his soul, the only soul he's got, had better be at the bottom of that ocean. And that's the only way to put it. Come on, Gladys, we're going back to the hotel.
One of the men that pushed the chairs, and the man's very sick. Henry ran away and hid, and some policemen are looking for him. And I don't care a bit if you don't want to have anything to do with Mama and me, because I'll never like you again. And I hope nobody ever likes you again, so there!
I'm glad I'm going to have to go and see what I can do about this.
You stay right here! Oh, George, don't go now while you're all excited,
Well,
crazy. No, this will all be forgotten in 100 years. Come on now, you're on the air. Well, just say anything. It doesn't matter what. It's just a lot of birds and fishes and things.
That's right. Thanks, Miss Fairweather. Thanks very much. You ready, Mr. Antrobus?
Well, what is it? Now, who am I speaking to?
Why, Mr. Antrobus, to our order and all the other orders.
Where are all those birds going?
Oh, those are just a few of the birds. Delegates to our convention. Two of a kind, you know.
Look at them all. And look at the water. The fish is jumping. Well, the children ought to see this. And there's Maggie's whales. Maggie! There's your whales!
Mr. Antrobus, we're standing by.
Take it from me.
And look at them on the beach. You didn't tell me all these would be here.
Oh, yes, George, those are the animals.
Yeah, those are the vertebrates. We hope the lion will have a word or two to say when you're through.
We're ready.
We're going to have just enough time before this storm.
Friends, cousins, 80 billion years ago, our forefather brought forth upon this planet the spark of life.
There's not a minute to be lost. Don't you see the 4 discs on the weather signal? Take your family into that boat at the end of the pier.
Family? I have no family. They won't come.
They will come. Antrobus, take these animals into the boat with you. All of them, 2 of each kind.
Maggie! Maggie!
George, what's the matter with you? This is just a storm like any other storm. No, stay with me.
Maggie!
It's just another thunderstorm, isn't it? Isn't it?
Maggie!
Here I am. Here's Sada.
Where have you been? Quick, we're going into that boat out there.
I know we are, but I haven't found Henry yet. Henry! Henry!
Well, I don't believe it. I don't believe it's anything at all. I've seen hundreds of storms like that. Go! Push the animals along before you start a new world begin again. Esmeralda, George, tell me, is it really serious?
All right. Elephants first. Yes, gently, look where you're going.
No, look, he left behind.
Is the kangaroo there? Good. Can you take these trailers in your pouch? Good. You jump up, or you'll be trampled down.
Look, the snake.
I can't find Henry. Henry!
Go along. Here, Gould, Shackles, whatever you want. Now you tend to your own business.
Mr. Antrobus, take me with you. No, don't leave me here. I'll work, I'll help, I'll do anything.
Maggie, quick. The pier is going to break any minute.
I'm not going another step without Henry. Henry!
Papa, hurry. The pier's cracking. It's going to break.
Kane! Here I am, Mother. Thank God! Come quick! I didn't think you wanted me. Quick!
Mrs. Antrobus, take me! No, don't you remember me? I'll work, I'll help. Don't leave me here.
Yes, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yes, go back to the kitchen with you. I don't know why my life is always being interrupted just when everything is going fine. Hey, get a canoe. There's not a moment to be lost. Paddle in the water, boys. Enjoy yourselves. Go back and climb on your roof. Put rags in the cracks under the door. Nothing will keep out the flood. You've had your day. You failed. You lost. Oh, they're safe. George Antrobus, think it over. A new world's on the
Gladys, where are you? The war's over. The war's over. You can come out. The peace treaty's been signed. Where are they? Are they dead too? Mrs. Antrobus? Gladys? I just saw Mr. Antrobus downtown. He'll be here this afternoon. Hurry and put things in order. He says that now that the war's over, we're all going to have to settle down and be perfect.
Miss Brown, we're going to have to stop a moment.
They may be hiding out in the back somewhere.
Blair.
What?
We're going to have to stop a moment.
What's the matter?
We're going to have to give an explanation to the audience. To everyone, Billy, can I have the house lights up, please? Thank you. Jack, you want to come down to the stage and explain this? Obviously, we can't stop.
John, we got to keep shooting here. There's nothing I can do. Just do your best. We're waiting.
All right. Oh, Hal. Hal, I'm glad you're here. Would you mind explaining this to the audience? They won't listen to me.
Your is not ready.
It's
I'm
not
not making any announcements. I'm not sure. I'm not going up on that.
We're into a huge refund here.
Oh, well. Go on. Ladies and gentlemen, there's been an unfortunate accident backstage. Perhaps I should say another unfortunate accident.
Oh, look, I'm sorry. I'm
All
sorry.
right. The old Globe Theater feels, as a matter of fact, we all feel that you're due an apology, and we're going to have to ask your indulgence for what is perhaps the most serious mishap of all. It looks as though 7 actors?
Just 7.
7 of our actors have been taken very, very ill. Apparently, it was something they ate. I'm not exactly clear what happened. Maybe we can be filled in on this. All right. Jonathan will explain.
Sure. We had this meal sent in. And 7 of our actors ate something that disagreed with them.
Disagreed with them? Look, they've got ptomaine poisoning or something. No. They are in Mercy Hospital this moment. In agony. In agony, having their stomachs pumped out.
Don't be an alarmist. Look, they're all fine. They'll all recover, ladies.
Well, it'll be a miracle if they do. A downright miracle.
There's nothing supposed
With the lemon meringue pie. Why was the lemon meringue pie? I saw it with my own eyes.
The equity deputy. Michael, would you... Is there something in the rules about this?
Well, in any case, ladies and gentlemen, whatever it was, these actors are just in no condition to go on with the performance. Now, unfortunately, we do not have enough understudies for all those roles. And I... We have some volunteers. But we do have some volunteers who have kindly consented to bail us out. They're here. Jonathan assures me that they've been watching the performance and
the rehearsals.
They know the lines
and
and most of the business, so they'll be able to fill in for our absent crew. Why don't I introduce some of those who are going to fill in for you? Now, over here we have Mr. Wood, who's helping me for this performance. You've seen him many times on the old Globe stage. He's a wonderful actor, and we're glad to have him here. And over here, our wardrobe mistress is going to help us out. Hester, yes. Come say hello. And also Miss Brown's dresser, Ivy. You over here? So Those are the people who are going to help us out this evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Also, Fred Bailey, the house manager. He handles the ushers.
The house manager. Okay, well, it's an emergency, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to use everybody we can get. Thank you. Just have to relax the rules for this, Michael. The scene that's involved here comes near the end of the play. And I'm afraid we are going to have to do a little rehearsing. The cameras are not sure of it, so that we'll have to rehearse for them. I'll tell you what you do. Why don't you step out into the lobby for just a minute, and you can talk among yourselves, have a smoke, and then when you come back, we'll all be...
They'll go away. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
All right, maybe then let's just check that. Stay where you are and talk quietly among yourselves. And Jonathan says it'll be interesting, and you'll see how we prepare for you. And, well, the rest of the evening will be in Jonathan's hands, and I'll see you a little later.
I'll get you ready.
He's not ready for the third act. I told him I'll help you.
Thank you, Hal. Thank you. This will only take a second. For those of you watching this and our viewers at home, I guess I should explain that at the end of this act, the men have come home from the war, and the family has settled down in the house, and the author wants to show the hours of the night passing by over their heads, and the planets crossing the sky over their heads. And he says, this is hard to explain, that each of the hours of the night is a philosopher or a great thinker. 11 o'clock, for instance, is Plato.
Aristotle, Jonathan. He doesn't know.
It's Aristotle. And 9 o'clock is...
Spinoza.
Do you mind? It's Spinoza. And like that. It's kind of poetic. I suppose it doesn't mean anything, but if we watch...
Mean anything? Jonathan, it certainly does mean something. I think what it means is that when people are asleep, they have all these beautiful thoughts, much better generally than when they're awake.
Me. I think it means, Jonathan?
Yes, Ivy.
My father saw a run-through, and he's a minister, and he says the author means that just as the hours and stars go by over our heads at night, in the same way, the ideas and thoughts of the great men are in the air around us all the time, and working on us even when we don't know it.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. Anyway, the hours of the night are philosophers. So, Ivy, will you be 11 o'clock?
Yes.
This good estate of the mind, possessing its object.
In energy we call divine, Aristotle. I also know 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock.
Well, Mr. Wood, would you mind, would you do the Bible for us?
Fine.
And 10 o'clock, Hester, that's Plato, and 9 o'clock is Spinoza. That's going to be you, Fred.
Okay.
Oh, no. The planets. What are we going to do about the planets?
Well, are they sick too?
All right, everybody.
Oh.
The planets are singers, and, well, we can't replace them, so you'll just have to imagine them singing along. Saturn, for instance, that's Susan Hegarty, a soprano, sings from the moat there, and then the moon shines down from that box seat up there, and then Mars has this big red light, and he stands there in the vomitorium, and Well, it's too bad you're going to have to miss that, but... well, anyway, let's rough this out quickly. Spinoza, Fred, from here down to the corner.
Experience had taught me that the common occurrences of daily life...
A little louder, Fred.
And I saw that all the objects of my desire and fear were in themselves nothing good nor bad.
Better,
save
better. That's going to be fine. Okay. 10 o'clock, Hester, Plato.
Then tell me, O Critias, how will a man choose the ruler that shall rule over him? Will he not choose madness?
Where do you end up?
Multiplied 1,000-fold in its effects upon the citizen.
Fine, thank you. Ivy, Aristotle.
This good estate of the mind, possessing its object in energy, we call divine. This we mortals have occasionally, and it is this energy which is pleasantest and best. But God has it always. In us it is wonderful, but in him how much more wonderful.
All right, and midnight, Mr. Wood. Oh, that's right. Now, you've done this for us before, haven't you?
The worst stage.
Well, all right, we all know what to do. Let's go, Fred. You'll have to come from the stage level, not Fred. Would you? Thank you. Just wear what you've got on. Never mind costumes. Can I have the house out, Billy, please? Act 3. Skin of our teeth. And Blair, please don't speak until I get into the booth and give you a cue.
Mrs. Andrews! Where are you? The war's over. You've heard all this before, right? Where are they? Are they dead too? Blah, blah, blah. I just saw Mr. Andrews downtown. Blah, blah, blah. He says that now that the war's over, we're all going to have to settle down and be perfect. They may be hiding out in the back somewhere. Mrs. Antrobus.
Light. There's still something burning over there. Newark or Jersey City.
Do you see any people?
Oh, yes, I could swear I heard somebody moving around up here. But I can't see anybody.
What?
I say I can't see anybody.
Mama, be careful.
Oh, Gladys, you stay out of sight.
Well, let me stay here just a minute. I want the baby to get some of this fresh air.
All right, but keep your eyes open. I'll see what I can find. I'll have a good hot plate of soup for you before you can say Jack Robinson. Gladys Antrobus, do you know what I think I see? Well, there's old Mr. Hawkins sweeping the sidewalk in front of his A&P store, sweeping it with a broom. Oh, he must have gone crazy like the others. I see some other people moving about, too.
Mama, come back.
There's something in the air. Everybody's movement's sort of different. I see some women moving right out in the middle of a street. Oh, my God, what's that? Gladys, that's Sabina's voice as sure as I live. Sabina? Sabina, are you alive?
Of course I'm alive. How have you girls been? Oh. No, don't try and kiss me. I never want to kiss another human being as long as I live. Oh, there's nothing to get so emotional about. Pull yourself together. The war's over. Take a deep breath. The war's over.
The war's over. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I can't believe you.
Mama.
Who's that? That's Gladys and her baby. I don't believe you. Gladys, Sabina says the war's over. Oh, Sabina.
What? Oh, goodness. Are there any babies left in the world? Can it see? Can it cry and everything? Oh, yes, he can. He notices everything.
Where on earth did you get it?
Oh, Lord, huh? I won't ask. I've lived all these 7 years around camp. I've forgotten how to behave. Come on now. We've got to get ready for the man coming home. Mrs. Antrobus, come on, wash your face. I'm ashamed of you. And put your best clothes on. Mr. Antrobus will be here this afternoon. I just saw him downtown.
He's alive?
He'll be here.
Oh, Sabina, you're not joking.
Sabina.
And Henry?
Yes, Henry's alive, too. That's what they say. But now, come on now. Get yourselves fixed up. Gladys, you look terrible. Have you any decent clothes?
Oh, yes, I've been saving something for this very day. But, Sabina, who won the war?
Don't stop and talk now. Just go and wash your face. My God, what is that silly little noise?
Why, it sounds like the noon whistle at the shoe polish factory.
That's exactly what it is. Shoe polish.
Sabina, how soon after peacetime begins does the milkman start coming to the door?
As soon as he catches a cow. You have to give him time to catch a cow, dear. Shoe polish. My God, I'd almost forgotten what peacetime was like. Mrs. Antrobus? Yes? Guess what I saw Mr. Antrobus doing this morning at dawn? He was tacking up a piece of paper on the door of the town hall. You'll die when you hear. It was a recipe for grass soup. For a grass soup that doesn't give you the diarrhea. Mr. Antrobus is still thinking up new things. He told me to give you his love. Oh, he's got all sorts of ideas for peacetime, he says. No more laziness and idiocy, he says. Oh, Mrs. Antrobus, I forgot. Oh, where are his books?
We kept them down here.
Yes? Well, pass them up. The first thing that he wants to see are his books. He says that if you've burnt those books or if the rats have eaten them, he says it isn't worthwhile starting over again. Everybody's going to be beautiful, he says, and diligent, and very intelligent. So, what kind of language is this? Oh, Finnegan's Wake. And he's got such plans for you, Mrs. Antrobus. You're going to study history and algebra, and so are Gladys and I, and philosophy. And you should hear him talk. Ah, well, these are plain English anyway. Mold. I mean, to hear him talk, Mrs. Antrobus, it seems to me like he expects you to be a combination of a saint and a college professor and a dance hall hostess, if you know what I mean. Ugh, Russian. Huh. Peacetime's going to be here before we know it. I mean, in a week or two, we'll be asking the Perkinses over for a quiet evening of bridge. We'll turn on the TV and learn how to be big successes with a new toothpaste. Or we'll trot down to the movie theaters and learn how girls with wax faces live. I mean, all of that will begin again. Oh, God forgive me, Mrs. Antrobus. But I enjoyed the war. Everybody's at their best in wartime. I'm sorry it's over. Oh, Mrs. Antrobus, can you hear me? Mr. Antrobus gave me another message to give to you. He says Henry's never to put foot in this house again. He says he'll shoot Henry on sight if he sees him. What? Well, you don't know about Henry. Well, where have you been? Well, Henry rose right to the top, from corporal to captain to major. I don't know how to say this, Mrs. Antrobus, but the enemy is Henry. Henry is the enemy. Everybody knows that.
He'll kill me, Willie.
Who are you? I'm not afraid of you. The war's over.
I'll kill him so fast. I've spent 7 years trying to find him. And the others I killed were just substitutes.
Oh, it's Henry. I'm not afraid of you. The war's over, Henry Antrobus. You're no more important than any other unemployed. Now go on, go away and hide yourself till we can calm your father down.
First thing is to burn up these old books. It's the ideas he gets out of these books that makes the world so you can't live in it.
You leave those books alone. You're so tired you can't stand up. Now, look, your mother and sister will be here in a minute, and then we'll figure out what to do about you.
Well, what did they ever care about me?
Oh, there's that old whine again. All you people think nobody loves you. Well, you start being lovable, and then we'll love you.
I don't want anybody to love me.
Then stop talking about it all the time.
I never talk about it. The last thing I want is anybody to pay any attention to me.
Oh, I can hear it behind every word you say.
I want everybody to hate me.
Oh, yes, well, you've decided that's second best, but it is still the same thing. Mrs. Antrobus, Henry's here.
Henry!
He's so tired he can't stand up.
Henry!
Have you anything to eat?
Yes, I have, Henry. I've been saving it for this very day. 2 good baked potatoes. One of them's for your father. Henry, give me that other potato back this minute.
Oh, he's so tired. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Henry, you rest here till I can get your room ready. You eat that potato good and slow so you can get all the nourishment out of it.
Whatever you think, I haven't come back here to live.
I'll just put this coat over you. Your room's hardly damaged at all. Your football trophies are a little tarnished, but Sabina and I'll polish those up tomorrow.
Did you hear me? I don't live here. I don't belong to anybody.
Why, how can you say such a thing? You certainly do belong right here. Where else would you want to be? Your forehead's feverish, Henry, it seems to me.
Oh, look. He's fallen asleep already.
You won't need this anymore.
The terror of the world.
Huh. Sabina, you mind your own business and start putting the room to rights.
That's all we ever do. We're always beginning again, over and over again, always beginning again. Now, how do we know it's going to be any better than before? Why do we go on pretending? Someday the whole Earth's going to have to turn cold anyway. Until that time, there'll be more wars, more walls of ice and floods and earthquakes.
Sabina, stop arguing. Get on with your work.
All right, I'll do it out of habit. But I don't believe in it.
Sabina, I've let you talk long enough. I don't want to hear any more of it. Do I have to explain to you what everybody knows? Everybody who keeps a home going. Do I have to say to you what nobody should ever have to say because they can read it in each other's eyes? Now you listen to me. I could live for 70 years in a cellar and make soup out of grass and bark without ever doubting that this world has a work to do and will do it. You hear me?
Yes, Mrs. Andrews.
Sabina, do you see this house? 216 Cedar Street. Do you see it?
Yes, Mrs. Andrews.
Well, just to have known this house is to have seen the idea of what this world can do someday if we keep our wits about us. Too many people have suffered and died for my children for us to start reneging now. So we'll go on putting this house to rights. Now, Sabina, go and see what you can do about the kitchen.
Kitchen? Why is it no matter how far away I go, I always find myself back in the kitchen?
Goodness gracious, wouldn't you know my father was a parson? It was just like I could hear his own voice speaking, and he's been dead over 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Oh, there. I've gone almost waked up, Henry.
What have they done for us? This kept everything in your own hands. You said it. When are you going to wake up?
Go to sleep.
When are you going to...
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. That's the way. I've got to help Sabina.
Mama, I'm going out in the backyard and hold the baby right up in the air and show him that we don't have to be afraid anymore.
All right. All right. What have you got to lose? What have they ever done for us? That's right. Nothing. Just tear everything down. I don't care what you smash. We'll begin again. Again. We'll show them. do something. And don't think I'm afraid of you either. All right, do what you were going to do. Do it. Shoot me. And don't think I'm any relation of yours. I don't have any father or any mother or brothers or sisters, and I don't want any. I'm alone. That's the way I want to be. Alone. So shoot.
You're the last person I wanted to see. The sight of you dries up all my plans and hopes. Oh, I wish I were back at war still. Because it's easier to fight you than to live with you. War's a pleasure. You hear me? War's a pleasure compared to what faces us now. Trying to build up a peacetime with you in the middle of it.
Well, I'm not going to be any part of any peacetime of yours. I'm going a long way from here, make my own world that's fit for a man to live in, where he can be free. Do what he wants to do in his own way.
Henry. Henry, come on. Let's try again.
Try what? Well, living here, speaking polite downtown to the old man like you, standing on the street corner like sheep, waiting for the red light to turn to green, being a good boy, and a good sheep like all the stinking ideas you get out of your books. No. I'll make my world.
How can you make a world for people to live in until you first put order in yourself? All right, you mark my words. I shall continue fighting you until my last breath, as long as you mix up your idea of liberty with your idea of hogging everything for yourself. I shall have no pity on you. I shall pursue you to the far corners of the earth. You know, you and I want the same thing, Henry. But until you think of it as something that everyone has a right to, you're my deadly enemy, and I'll destroy you.
Is that what you meant? Yes, that's wonderful.
I hear your mother's voice. Have you seen her?
I have no mother. Get it into your head. I don't belong here. I have nothing to do here. I have no home.
Then why did you come here? With the whole world to choose from, why did you come to this one place? 216 Cedar Street, Excelsior, New Jersey. Well?
What if I did? What if I did? I wanted to look at it.
Oh, you're related, all right. When your mother comes into this room, you must behave yourself. Do you hear me?
What is this? What is this? Must behave yourself. Don't you ever say must to me.
You quiet!
Nobody ever says must to me.
Quiet!
All my life, everybody has been crossing me. Everybody. Everything. I am going to be free, even if I have to kill half the world for it.
I'll teach you a lesson you'll never forget.
Right now. You.
No, stop the play! Gentlemen, I'm forbidden. Men, don't play.
What's the matter with him?
All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have nothing against you personally. I respect you very much. Really, something happens to me here. Something. I can't do this part. It's like I become 15 years old again. You know, my own father used to pull the belts on me, whip me, lock me up. Sometimes we never had enough to eat. He never gave me anything. I was ashamed. I was ashamed to even go downtown. I couldn't even go to dances. My father, my uncle, they put rules in the way of everything. They tried to... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, finish what you were saying.
What?
In this scene, it's like... In this scene, it's like I were back in high school again. Like I had this big emptiness inside me, of being hated and blocked at every turn. And this emptiness fills up with one thought, that you have to strike and fight and kill. You have to kill somebody else so as not to end up killing yourself. What do you want? Get away from me! Get out of my face!
I knew your father. I knew your whole family. Well, Jeff, you've imagined all of that. I mean, how can you say such a thing? They never locked you up.
They did. You don't know, Blair. I wished I hadn't even been born.
No, that's not true.
Wait a minute. It's not all his fault that this is happening. Now it's mine, too. He wouldn't feel that way unless there was something in me that reminded him of all that. He talks about emptiness. Well, there's an emptiness in me, too. Yeah. Work. That's all I do. I've ceased to live. No wonder the kid feels that anger coming over him.
At least you've said it.
We're all just as wicked as we can be. And that's the God's truth.
Come on, put your head under some cold water.
Oh, I'll take him. I've known him a long time. You have to go on with the play. Come on.
Oh, no, we can.
That's
George, you're limping.
Yeah, a little. My old wound from the other war is smarting again. I can manage.
Some lights are coming on. The first in 7 years. People are walking up and down looking at them. Over in Hawkins' open lot, they built a bonfire to celebrate the peace. They're dancing around it like scarecrows.
A bonfire? So they hadn't seen enough things burning. Maggie. The dog died.
Oh, yes, long ago. There are no dogs left in Excelsior.
Okay.
You're back again. All these years. I gave up counting on letters.
Oh, the ocean is full of letters. Along with a lot of other things.
George, sit down. You're tired.
No. You sit down. I'm tired, Maggie, but I'm restless. Maggie, I've lost it. I've lost it, Maggie.
What have you lost?
The most important thing in the world. The desire to begin again.
It'll come back.
No, I've lost it. This minute I feel like all those people dancing around the bonfire. Just relief, just the desire to settle down, slip into the old grooves. Keep my neighbor from walking over my lawn. But you know, Maggie, sometimes during the war, in the middle of all that blood and dirt and hot and cold every day and every night, I'd have moments when I saw what we could do when it was over. And that's something when you're at war, you think of a better life. When you're at peace, you think of a more comfortable one. I've lost it. I'm sick and I am tired.
Listen, the baby's crying. I can hear Gladys talking. Probably she's quieting Henry again. George. When Gladys and I were living here, like moles, like rats, and when we were at our wits' end to save the baby's life, the only thought we clung to was that you were going to be able to bring something good out of all this suffering. In the night, in the dark, we'd whisper about it, starving and sick. Oh, George. You've got to get it back again.
What else kept us alive all these years? Even now, it's not comfort we want. We can suffer whatever's necessary. Only give us back that promise.
Mrs. Antrobus?
Yes, Sabina.
Will you need me?
No, Sabina, you can go to bed now.
If it's all right with you, I'd like to go to the bonfire and celebrate seeing the war's over. And, Mrs. Antrobus, they've opened up the Gem Movie Theater, and they're giving away a hand-painted soup tureen to every lady, and... well, I mean, I thought one of us ought to go.
Well, Sabina, we don't have any money. I haven't seen any money for quite a while.
Oh, but you don't need any money. They're taking anything you can give them, and Mrs. Antrobus, you promise you won't tell anyone. It's a little against the law, but I'll give you some.
What is it?
I'll give you some, too. Yesterday I was downtown. I picked up a lot of beef cubes.
Sabina, you ought to turn those into the center downtown. They know who needs them most.
Look, Mrs. Antrobus, I didn't make this war. I didn't ask for it. You know, it seems to me like after anybody's been through what we've been through, that you have a right to grab what you can find. And Mr. Antrobus, you're a nice man. You're a very nice man, but you'd have gotten on a lot better in this world if you'd realized that dog eat dog was the rule in the beginning and always will be, and especially so now. The world is an awful place. You know it is. I used to think something could be done about it, but I know better now. And I hate it. I just hate it. All right. All right, you can have them.
Well, thank you, Sabina.
Mr. Antrobus, can I have one? To go to the movies.
Good night, Sabina. Good night.
Oh, Mr. Antrobus, don't mind what I say. I'm just an ordinary girl. You know what I mean? I'm just an ordinary girl, but... well, you're a bright man. You're a very bright man. My God, I mean, you invented the wheel and the alphabet and all sorts of things. And, I mean, if you have any plans, my God, I mean, don't let me upset them. It's just... every now and then I have to go to the movies. My nerves can't stand it. But if you've got any ideas about improving this crazy world, I really am with you. I really am. Oh, good night.
Maggie, now I remember what three things always went together when I could see things most clearly. Three things. Three things. The voice of the people in their confusion and need. And you, and the children, and this house. And Maggie, I didn't dare ask you my books. They haven't been lost, have they?
No, there are some of them still here. They kind of tattered.
Oh. Maggie! Oh, yes. Oh, Maggie. Maggie, you remember how we almost lost them once before? And when we did manage to find a few old torn copies out of some cellars, how they ran in everybody's head like a fever. They as good as rebuilt the world, Maggie. I haven't forgotten for long at a time that living is struggle. And I know that every good and excellent thing in the world stands moment by moment on the razor edge of danger. And it must be fought for. Whether it's a field, a home, or a country. All I ask is the chance. And God has always given us that. And has always given us the voices to guide us and the memory of our mistakes, Maggie. To warn us. Maggie, you and I will remember in peacetime all the resolves that were so clear to us during the days of war. We've come a long way. We've learned. We're learning. And the steps of our journey are marked for us. Here. You know, sometimes out there in the war, I'd stand all alone on a hill at night, and I'd try to remember some of the words from these books. Parts of them, phrases would come back to me. And after a while, I used to give names to the hours of the night. Like 9 o'clock, I'd call Spinoza. Where is it?
After experience had taught me that the common occurrences of daily life are vain and futile, and I saw that all the objects of my desire and fear were in themselves nothing good nor bad, save insofar as the mind was affected by them. I at length determined to search out whether there was something truly good and communicable to man.
Then tell me, O Critias, how will a man choose the ruler that shall rule over him? Will he not choose the man who has first established order in himself, knowing that any decision that has its spring from anger or pride or vanity can be multiplied 1,000-fold in its effects upon the citizens? This good estate of the mind, possessing its object and energy we call divine, this we mortals have occasionally, and it is this energy which is pleasantest and best. But God has it always. It is wonderful in us, but in him how much more wonderful.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was waste and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
Not home yet. Pray God nothing serious has happened to him crossing the Hudson River. But I wouldn't be surprised. The whole world's at 6s and 7s, and why the house hasn't fallen down about our ears long ago is a miracle to me. This is where you came in. We have to go on for ages and ages yet. You go home. The end of this play isn't written yet. Mr. and Mrs. Antrobus. Their heads are full of plans, and they're as confident as the first day they began. And they told me to tell you. Good night.
souvenir program from tonight's telecast of The Skin of Our Teeth, please send $2 to Souvenir Program, the Old Globe Theater, P.O. Box 2171, San Diego, California, 92112.